I think the biggest feather in our cap is the fact that we wrote all our hits. I don't know another group except for Jodeci that wrote all their hit records. I don't know one. I think, I always feel like because of the whole Rihanna situation, like Chris get a bad rap, but
that boy came
he one of the baddest artists I've
Ever, man.
And I feel like we don't get to see him in the same light as we seen some of our favorite artists because of that situation.
Right. He was 16.
But I would implore everybody to think about the fact that he was a kid. If you hold some of the things we did when we was kids against us,
that's right.
We'd be in the same boat.
We'll be remiss to not even acknowledge, the fact that you are still with us.
Absolutely.
And we, obviously we all were praying for you. Definitely your fans.
I appreciate that.
Had that accident, man. And I think about Iris from 702 passing away.
Man, we seen her weeks before that.
Man. Even Irv Gotti just
shout
the
out
other
my
day.
brother Irv.
Irv, yes.
Irv one of
that's
great.
Listen, it's
Irv,
funny.
let me just tell this story real quick. When we got off Def Jam, Irv was one of the first people to call me. Like, he wanted to give us a deal. An artist deal, but at that point we was looking for a label deal. So, he got a little mad. We had a little back and forth about it. But, at the end of the day, he respected my decision. And more than anything, me and him have been cool from probably the time we stepped into this game. A lot of today's R&B, they've taken their cues from groups like us, right? But didn't pay enough. Right? They didn't pay enough attention to understand that our image is something different from our music.
Right.
Our image was just 4 guys trying to be themselves. You know what I mean? Our music is we put on a very high level.
Right.
So you can separate the two to understand who you got to separate the two to understand who we really
And
are.
it's crazy because we just posted this picture in these Dickie suits today, right? This is leather Dickie suit. And people going crazy. But one thing, first comment I see, my thug R&B niggas is back. Listen,
we never claim that.
That's not what we said.
Can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? R&B.
What's up? It's your boy Ian Vaughn, the R&B ambassador. Listen, I apologize for the interruption, but I need you guys to help us continue to grow this channel. We're doing such a fantastic job growing, bringing you amazing content from some of our favorite R&B artists and contributors. I'll need you to do this one little thing: like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe is key. Also, hit the notification bell. This will help us to continue to bring more and more fantastic artists to the platform. So with that said, this is a continuing conversation. Can we talk R&B? Now back to the show. What's up? It's your boy Ian Vaughn, the R&B ambassador, and I have an absolute special one today. Now, we talk about some of the greatest groups of all time, and I got one in the building today. I mean, listen, they got hits after hits after hits. They've been continuously bringing us quality music, world-class music for upwards of, I don't want to put them out there, but like almost 30 years.
Put us out there, dog.
Man, we got Jagged Edge in the building.
What's up, world?
What's up? Brian, Brandon, Kyle, Wingo.
Yes, sir.
Man, I can't, look, first of all, I can't thank y'all enough for making the time to joining us. So as I ask everyone the same question, can we talk R&B?
Come on,
Let's do it,
man.
man.
Let's do it.
Absolutely, man.
Come on. So
Thank you for having us.
Nah, for sure, man. Thank you guys for making the time. So, I mean, the first question I like to ask is, what made you guys fall in love with R&B?
Well, I guess, for me and my brother, we just talking about this on the bus ride over. My parents, my mom's is a jazz singer. My dad's a poet, you know what I mean? So they kept good music in the house. So they liked a lot of the music the same, but then she had her separate taste and he had his separate taste. So it was just a real eclectic vibe of music in our house. So from day one, we knew, it was going to be something to do with music.
Absolutely. Do you guys have like the pedigree? I'll say the pedigree. I use that word a lot. Come from like the church background.
Absolutely. And it's funny because you asked us what made us fall in love with R&B. I think we fell in love with gospel first.
Come on.
And it was probably about a period between, I want to say 4 to 5 years. We couldn't listen to nothing but gospel. My mother wasn't having it. Like, she heard something coming out my room. She was gonna knock the door down and take the tape out. We talking about tapes way back then. So I mean, honestly, we fell in love with gospel first, and I think even though we fell in love with gospel first, we fell in love with New Edition before we fell in love with all the rest of R&B.
Absolutely.
So it was gospel, New Edition.
Yep.
Then after that, once she took the band off the music, we listened to everything.
Y'all some heathens. Y'all just heathens.
So I mean, I think we had Slim from 112 on the show some time ago. And he talked about how you guys all grew up together in the same neighborhood. I think intertwining group members or something like that.
He supposed to be in 112. You know what I mean? Little do y'all know.
Before I was in Jagged Edge, they were trying to put me in 112. They didn't want no 5 members. I was like, I ain't
You ain't want that either, bro.
How'd y'all come together? How'd that happen?
Church.
Yep,
To be honest with you,
we met in church early.
Tell you best.
The minister of music at my church, Byron Cage and Jonathan Alvarado.
Come
Bishop
on.
Jonathan Alvarado. now.
Okay,
They actually left Elizabeth Baptist Church and went over to New Birth to be minister of music over there.
Yep.
And that's kind of how I used to go sit in their rehearsals and all that.
Gotcha.
And did a couple trips with them and the whole nine, just like
Man, shout out to Byron Cage. I ain't heard that name in a long time.
That's our brother.
He taught us a lot, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, and that's just how we actually met initially. And it's just over the years we kind of stayed in touch and all that. And it was on from there.
Absolutely. So we're just gonna kind of run through some of the beginning stages. So we know, you guys being one of the elite groups. I was first introduced to you guys from Gotta Be.
Oh yeah.
That single being like the first single.
Started it all.
And to me, it's still one of my favorite. You know what I'm saying?
Mine too.
Yeah, mine too.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, how did that come to be? Like, I know you guys, in terms of building up your career, you got a record deal, So Deaf, and you guys creating the album. How did that song come about?
Well, I mean, it's funny because it came out in stages, right? We were kind of a popular group, so we had a few deals on the table at one time. And one of those deals, when we got our first deal in high school from Michael Bivins. And after that fell through, we went throughout Atlanta searching for a new deal. One of the deals that was on the table was Rowdy Records, Dallas Austin.
Yes.
And he had a group of producers named Tim and Bob, right? So he gave us
friends of the show.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So he gave us this long
Tim Bob.
Right, back to the tapes. He gave us this long tape with like probably 100 beats
Snippets on it.
And there was a beat on there that we wrote Gotta Be too. And at first, our goal was to sell it. Like, we good friends with Monica and everybody. So I was going to sell it to Monica first. Come on. Right? Then when we let other people hear it, they're like, y'all got to keep that song.
Right.
So we ended up keeping it. That's kind of how it came about, though. You know what I mean?
That's like one of them classics, bro.
That's our baby too, though. Gotta be.
And we knew that from the first time we heard it back.
Absolutely.
Like after we wrote it and sang it, we knew it. We knew that was. I ain't gonna say we knew it was gonna be our first hit single, but we just knew it was a dope ass record.
I mean, especially to me as well, because at the group I used to be in, I won a talent show singing that song. So
kudos to y'all.
Y'all deserve it. Singing that song, y'all deserve it.
We got some studio time right there.
Yeah, Gotta Be was super huge for us, man. That's I never forget playing it for Big Boy in California.
Oh my Lord!
And this one he was before he had the surgery and all that stuff. He was like
really Big Boy.
And we was just like, just listen to the record with doing the interview, and then this is our new single. Listen to the record. He put his headphones on, turned it up in the studio. Literally, once the song was over, he stood up. Come on.
Took your pants off,
belt and pulled his pants down.
Yeah, he was ready.
Like he literally pulled his pants down. And was like, yo.
And he was just like, "This is what the girls gonna do."
He was like, "This song is like."
Did something to him,
And
turn him into a freak.
Shout out to Big Boy.
Shout out to Big Boy. But you know what I'm saying? It was confirmation for us.
Right,
It's about to happen.
Nah, for sure. So tell me how, I know, we're going to get into some of the bigger, how you guys really blew up, but just the creation process. You guys are all songwriters, obviously incredible singers. I know you guys, specifically at that time, were very instrumental working with Brian Michael Cox.
Still are.
Still are. How'd that relationship foster?
Man,
one thing about us is that we were always looking to create. Like, we could have got signed to a label and just let them, form our project and put all the songs together, but that's just not how we wanted to do it. We was writers from day one. So we went to a studio called Noontime. Noontime had a house of producers, right? Teddy Bishop, Jazzy Faye, Brian Michael Cox, J-Dub,
Polo the Don,
everybody was over there, right? Yeah. But there was a guy named Brian Michael Cox who at the time, he was just like the guy sitting in the back room. Yeah. So we was like, listen, just hook us up with a keyboard player, because me and him, we can play the keyboard. We always look for a person like an expert. You know, we've gotten better over the years, but at that time we were still kind of like more like on a novice level, right? So we said, hook us up with a keyboard player, and we saw this guy named Brian Cox in the back. We was like, just hook us up with him. We didn't know he was gonna be Brian Cox. We're like, just hook us up with him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But he could play.
But he could play. So we started coming in,
And he had that church feel.
Right.
That's what made us feel some type
And it's
of way.
almost like because of that, it's almost like Noontime had overlooked him because he had that, but we understood what that could do. Right. We understood what that could do. So the first day we banged out like 5 songs. We sold 2 of the songs, and the other 3 went on our album. So we knew like, okay,
this
there's definitely something
Like
here.
our first time recording, we came out with "He Can't Love You."
Right.
That was one of the first
The
songs
first
we ever
songs,
did together.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was on H.E.R. break.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, right. So after the success of Jagged Era, we went off to start making H.E.R. break by ourselves. We wasn't waiting on Jermaine. No disrespect to Jermaine, but that's just how we are. We ain't like, listen, you're not gonna hold our hands. We're not gonna be held hostage by nobody. We're gonna keep going, right?
Absolutely.
So we did the same thing after this. Instead of waiting for Jermaine to open up the budget for the album, we just went and started working. And that's how we came up with He Can't Love You and a bunch of other songs for the album.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, J.E. Heartbreak to me.
Yeah.
Now, I always make these statements and people come from my head. Is one of is the key term, best R&B albums ever.
I mean,
Thank you, man.
who's disputing that?
Well, no one's disputing that
okay.
specifically.
Yeah, come on, we want to know.
But when I say,
give me
when
the
I say
address.
something like,
We're gonna pull up.
Somebody, you know?
but when I say something like one of, like
I got you.
I did I was on a collaborative episode we did with We Sound Crazy, the guys with Phil Thornton and those guys, Clark Kelly and all of. And I made a statement saying Brian McKnight is one of the greatest vocalists. That's my opinion.
And they disputed that too?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, we got to question who we talking about.
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So would you agree that he's one of?
Absolutely. I feel like it's
doesn't know
not even an argument.
We came up listening to Brian McKnight every day.
I just want to point
Listen, that One Last Cry album, we used to bump that every day.
Come
You know what
on.
I'm saying?
I mean, you
classic.
seen him on Martin?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Martin knew.
His best record to me is Anytime, right?
Right.
And that was banging when Gotta Be was banging.
yeah.
So we would find ourselves on the same show
right,
sometimes.
absolutely.
And not only is he a dope, great artist, he's a gracious human being. He's a good dude.
Right.
So, when somebody's that talented, man, be careful who legacy you knock. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
He's one of them, he up there.
He up there. Big
with
ups to
him.
Brian McKnight. And the crazy part is, we talked about this so once we put the clip out, people are going crazy in the comments. Brian tapped in.
Oh, that
He said, I'm here for this conversation.
I know that. You're talking about me.
Hey, don't let the spoon get spoiled.
Yeah. So we got a little bit ahead of where I wanted to go, but we'll get to that. So speaking of J.E. Heartbreak, again, one of my favorite ones. That to me, that album is the one that like solidified you guys as like we really here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause,
You're right.
Jagged Era was dope, but of course 112 was like really popping. Drew Hill was really popping, and you guys were first being introduced.
Right.
And then you guys came with J.E. Heartbreak, like
we
Right, and that's the thing too. Sometimes almost a misconception. Like, even when people say 90s R&B, we spent 2 years in the 90s. But 112, Drew, they came out 94, 95. You know what I mean?
We
So they
came out
really
98. Our first album 98.
98, right? So we really not. I mean, they are era, but we really still a little behind
Little
them.
couple
You know
years
what I'm saying? You might would have rather put us with the New Millennium guys than the 94, 95 guys. You know
But you know what?
Like,
I really think it's almost a testimony to the type of music we make. They even though we came out the end of that era, it's that era's music
Right,
that
absolutely.
we make. So they really lump us together.
They love it in there. That's right.
That's
and I'm guilty of that. But no, you guys, you're absolutely right.
Right.
But you guys are kind of in that regard, you kind of are the fathers of the 2000s.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everybody else wasn't kicking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll take that for sure.
Anything good you got to say about Jagged Edge?
We'll take that.
I'm just sitting here having a epiphany of it right now.
I concur, sir.
Yeah.
Captain Kirk.
So, again, I'm a purist. So they asked me, what's your favorite song? I like songs like Remedy, songs like Healing.
Come
You know what I'm
on,
saying? Like,
yeah.
them be the
on,
joints.
The real
added
stuff.
those
Yeah.
to the show.
Come
Absolutely.
on.
Just
Yeah,
add
we
those
did.
records.
Right.
So tell me this, for R&B groups, like how important, and this is for R&B fans, how important is it to really push the songs like those records I'm talking about, besides the hits? The hits are the hits.
Right.
But R&B fans, at least for me as an R&B lover, is the hits might draw me in, but what keeps me
Right. Absolutely.
It's very important. I mean, like you know, people call those album records or whatnot,
Right.
but those songs really, really mean something to people. That means these people have dissected your project,
That's right.
the whole nine.
Lived with it.
And those, I mean, think about it. You're on a label. You might only get 1 or 2 singles out of a project, three at the most, whatnot. But like some of your best records, like you know what I'm saying, are actually in the album.
Absolutely.
We've gotten cussed out. Literally cussed out for not doing song. We was overseas one time, and dude was shooting the bird in the
The
crowd.
whole show,
The whole
the second half of the show, he like this.
Yeah.
We just being dudes, we all went to see him after the show was over. He was like, you know what? I can tell by the way y'all was going through them songs, y'all wasn't gonna sing
Y'all
my
wasn't
song.
gonna sing that.
Right. And it was just, and that song was
Rest of our lives.
Rest of our lives.
Rest of our
Rest of our
lives.
lives.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But again,
Yeah.
like it's records like that. So,
My brother was in the group as well.
Oh, wow.
And they used to sing "Rest of Our Lives."
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Kudos.
Yeah.
But you know,
ultimately, I'm sorry, Coach, but yeah, ultimately, that's just it, man. Like those records are really meaningful to people. So that's why we've added a lot of that to the show. You know what I mean? But you know, again, it's,
But you know, I heard Brian say earlier, you know, we came out listening to just on the brinks of, you know, figuring out what sound that we wanted to, you know, come out with. A lot of freaky songs was out then.
Oh, yeah.
Like we say, freaking you,
Bumping rhyme,
bumping
freak
grind,
me, freak
freak me. So you know, we were already looking a little, you know, edgy.
Yeah.
So we wanted to go against the grain to where, like,
Y'all was
hey,
definitely edgy.
let's hit them with the real. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Let's talk about how we really feel.
Yeah.
And we speak on the behalf of a lot of brothers that just don't know how to express things.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts.
So you know,
That's key
boom.
right there. One thing that's a unique thing about you guys I noticed. Again, I've been to a number of shows,
Right.
and I remember some years back. Again, coming from that pedigree, there was Boyz II Men, there's Jodeci, there's 112 Drew Hill, and I had seen everybody perform with Jodeci. You guys are similar in terms of your presentation,
Presentation, yeah.
not necessarily sonically, but presentation wise.
Right.
So you guys were the first ones I saw like looking like rappers, talking like rappers.
Right.
But then you start singing, and it's like,
it's totally
What are you,
different,
these niggas beautiful. Like,
Listen, and that's what he's saying too, is that we felt like, we cool enough to not have to sing no freaking you, like let's make something meaningful. Let's make something that's gonna be timeless. Let's make something. I remember one time we was rehearsing, and we used to have some songs like that. Frankie, you, my mom, and my mom, me and my brother's mom walked past the room, and we stopped singing the song. And she just walked. So she walked on by, and she came back. She said, "Listen, if you sing the song that I gotta cover my ears for, or maybe you shouldn't be singing that."
Right.
And it always stuck with us. You know what I mean? So we started making more meaningful music from that day on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's important. So coming from that point, obviously, Jagged's Little Thrill is the next album.
Absolutely.
Right.
This one, okay, now it's superstar status, right? You had the big success from Where the Party At on that album featuring Nelly.
Right.
So you guys have covered party music. You guys have covered, this R&B jams, and obviously you have classics. And one specific classic, like "Let's Get Married," this is one of the greatest, wedding songs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So speaking of, I'm gonna get back to Let's Get Married, but speaking of like Where the Party At, like what was that experience like? Now we really arrived, because I know that was superstar status at that point.
Absolutely.
Listen, we tell the story all the time. That video alone, we had like 150 women,
Yes.
right? And they was bringing them in like ships of 25. So but it fit the song, it fit the experience, and like you said, we was at that point where even our label started to say, y'all are that thing that y'all grew up when y'all was placing Jodeci and Boys. Now y'all are that thing. You know what I mean? So that meant a lot to us, because that was our goal. We never wanted to be a one-hit wonder.
Nope.
We never wanted to be, people who just did it, just for the money. Even
Right.
we wanted to have a career. We wanted to have, make music that stood the test of time. And so we realized around that point, okay, we at least on track for being that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that record was so big. How many records? That was like, how many?
We
did it
sold
sell?
1 million records in 4 weeks on that
Just
joint.
one
4
song.
weeks. Yeah. We would sell like
Is that
still your biggest
250,000 a
record?
week.
Is that still your biggest record?
Sell wise, in terms of in a short period of time, but Promise, I think Promise stayed at number one like 9 weeks, and it took the album from like I want to say 700-some thousand to probably over 2 million.
It's always so fascinating to me because like Promise, I love that song, but it's like my least favorite of y'all records.
It was a sleeper. It was a sleeper.
And
I think it was one of those things where also, I mean, it's a great song in my opinion, but it's like the train was already so hot. Then, like whatever we did after Let's Get Married, it was going to work.
It was going to
and then the fact that it is a good record.
It's a fantastic record.
You know what I'm
but
saying?
it's kind of like I say that, and I'm standing on business because I'm a truist, bro. Like I'm always.
There you go.
Everything can't be the best one when you already had some other stuff that was. I just talked about Gotta Be. I just talked about these other records that meant something.
How you top the top?
How you top the top?
So,
but I will say this about that record, man. When we sing that record in concert, when we sing Promise,
They go.
It means so much.
It's almost like a spiritual
it
moment.
is.
You know
Like,
what I mean? Like
you see people's eyes
crying,
rolling.
you see
like,
people,
it's
you see
crazy.
couples
You know what I'm
dancing
saying?
together. You see some girls crying. Like
telling you,
it's almost like a. What's it like? What they call it when not a cult, but what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just saying it's just almost like it's just a spiritual experience. You know what I mean? Every time we do that song, he said every single night we sing that song, you can look in that crowd and you can pick out something you might not have never seen before. Every time we do that song. Every time.
I had Eric Bellinger on the show.
EB.
And he said, and I think Kenyon Dixon said this as well, talking about 2000s R&B, but Eric mentioned He Can't Love You is what made him even fall in love with R&B.
He told us that. So at least we know he ain't lying. Shout out to Eric Bellinger. He's one of those R&B artists that damn near every time he see us, he shows us that love. He makes sure we feel that. So, nothing but love to Eric.
And I think,
any talent
when you throw around that underrated conversation, you got to throw him in there. He's underrated.
Right.
He's talented as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Humble.
And he consistent as hell. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I call him Young Sensei because it's like his pen is crazy.
Pen
is
vocals, he's amazing.
Absolutely.
He's a good dude.
So let's go back to Let's Get Married.
Let's get married.
Let's Get Married. It's just to the point, right? Yeah. The writing is incredible. You know what I'm saying? The approach. Now, I was a wedding singer.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Ribbon in the Sky. We talk about Brian McKnight. What is it? Still in Love.
Mm-hmm.
We think about For
Luther,
You, Kenny
Here
Lamont.
Now.
So where would you guys rank? So if you, like taking yourselves out of it, but looking at Jagged Edge, where would you guys rank that on the list of like great wedding songs?
I'm gonna take this one, man. About a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, Rolling Stones did the best R&B songs of all time. I think we 30 or 38 on that list, right? Billboard did the same thing maybe 2 years prior to that, and we might have been top 10 or something. Right? I know on both lists we over Michael Jackson. Come on. So if you just go by, what the streets say, we had to put Let's Get Married at number one. I think you gotta put us up there.
I mean, the song called "Let's Get Married." Right? I mean,
y'all song ain't called "Let's Get Married."
Y'all song ain't called that.
You know what's crazy too? We did the Tamron Hall show earlier today, and
shout out to her.
She brought out a statement the New York Times said about the record. They said it's the most desperately romantic record ever written. That's brilliant. That's crazy. And I think it kind of does sum it up.
But you know what? The thing about Let's Get Married that I feel like sometimes goes missing is that we're speaking about something specific, right? Sometimes people look at it like it's just an all-encompassing wedding song, but it was never that. Because they say, well, why would you say something like,
would you trivialize
we ain't getting no younger, you're trivializing marriage. No, we talking about that man in that situation who is from that place where he might not get down on one knee and say, and go through all the motions that some people go through. That's who that song was written for. The couple that's been together umpteen amount of years or however many years, and neither one of them has taken that foot to actually make it solidify.
She probably cooked something.
That's what Let's Get Married is about.
Yeah, she probably cooked something and it put her foot in it. He turned around and said, "You know what?
Hey, we might as well do this.
We ain't getting no younger, girl." You might as well do it.
Out of all the wedding songs, that's the only one that's like, see, first of all,
Exactly.
I mean, like, first of all,
like-
this what we doing.
You're right.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
these so-called players wouldn't tell you this, but I will.
But I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah. And I guess just to throw in that song, Ty Dolla $ign on Free TC album, you guys
Another
featured
one
on
of
that.
our
Homies, yeah.
With,
He's another one of them guys that soon as I met him, he let us know how we influenced him. And we've only talked over the phone, so I never seen him in person, but he just had to let me know how much our music meant to his development. So shout out to Ty as well.
And I can see that.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And shout out to Ty, because to me, he's one of the most slept on vocalists.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Vocalist,
Right.
He
I'm gonna tell you.
You know what's funny? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's funny because their two voices are so similar.
You know what?
Wingo and Ty come from the same school of voice. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm a real musician, and I know this. And I know this.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, well, I just want to shout Ty out for that's the record
Yes,
straight
sir.
up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know that record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's a dope record, man.
But that was
Dope
a
record.
throw, just a throw to Let's Get
Absolutely.
Married.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
All right. Speaking of your voice being similar to Ty, why we don't hear you lead as much as I would like to hear that more?
Please tell the truth.
My thing is, the records that I'm on or whatnot, like first and foremost, coming out as a group, as a band, group, you have to establish a sound.
That's right.
You know what I mean? For your fans. You don't want
Facts.
every record somebody singing, it's a different lead on it because you
don't know who they
you're
are.
going to
You don't know who they
confuse
are.
them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we've always been, we're team players. At the end of the day, whoever sounds best on this verse or that, you know what I mean? Like, you get the part. And at the end of the day, my brothers, come on, it's
got
not
the
enough.
part. Yeah.
It's not enough. So I'm not gonna come in and be like, oh wait, no, man, I'm gonna wait my turn. Or whatever record they ask me to be on, and this and that, I'm coming in, I'm gonna sing my ass off, and I'm keeping it moving. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're a group. That's why we're a group. You know what I'm saying? We're a team.
For sure.
You see
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? A team has to have a quarterback. A team has to have a fullback. Or you can't win the Super Bowl if everybody's a quarterback.
And
You got a whole
honestly,
quarterback.
to be
No.
honest with you, I feel like in the past, we've heard groups give each other parts, and they probably weren't even the best for that part. So we didn't want to do none of that.
No,
you know?
right,
We wanted to make hits from
Hits,
day
right,
one.
hits,
And
right.
so,
Period.
why curtail that? Go for the gusto.
Go
That's
for
how
the
we
gusto.
are.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you asked it, and I'm glad he addressed it because
They be thinking we don't
sometimes
let
people
him
think like we got him locked in the closet. When you know what I'm saying? Like, we got him tied up somewhere and won't let him.
man.
Listen, he's welcome to get on every single record. It's him who honestly said, "Nah, y'all might be better for it." So it's
Exactly.
really up to him.
I'm the take it home guy. I got you. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Don't even worry
absolutely.
about it. Like at the end of the day, I know my role, and that's why this is work.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like just like we were talking.
We cool with our dynamic.
we were saying in the interview earlier, whatnot. Yes, egos are part, but it's not that.
Right.
You know, the egos come as far as we're just confident in what we can do individually.
right.
You know what I mean? How we look every day. When we come out, somebody got a new outfit on. Oh yeah, I can't wait to go get that. You know, it motivates us. It doesn't like, oh, I'm judging him. We got it first. No.
Right. No, that's what I said
No,
earlier.
man.
is
Which
that,
keep us strong.
They
They
keep
keep us
that's
strong.
what have kept us together, and I'm thankful for it, man.
You
I'm thankful
understand the
for this
assignment.
dynamic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
We wouldn't tell the lie that there's no egos. I think it's better put that we allow each other to have our own individual egos,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and it doesn't off put the balance any kind of way.
No, I love that. I mean, again, I'm a purist. So I'm the guy who was always reading the credits back in the joint.
Us too.
Man, and now who sang this part?
Right.
And I know who sang this part. And I remember going to one of y'all shows and like you guys were doing a routine and then just going back to do like a change of clothes and you come out. And I was like, this nigga can fucking kill.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? This is like back
Let me
in like
tell you something
98,
you don't
whatever it
know.
was.
appreciate it,
He
bro.
can too. like
yeah.
this,
Come on.
Listen, I hate when people think that it's two lead singers and two. No, this is four lead singers.
Yeah.
They choose to do what they want to do, and we allow them the space to do that
Right.
as they allow us the space to do what we like to
Absolutely.
do.
Right.
So, but
Absolutely.
don't get it twisted. These four niggas can sing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, it's clear because y'all hold them harmonies down like for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what's funny about him? when we was trying to get a deal, right? We used to sing "Shy." If I fall in love, he sings the main. He sings the main part. That's him.
I'm not tripping. I know my assignment.
We used to also do Let's Chill. He used to lead that whole record.
Come on.
There you go.
So it's like people don't understand. Like
But
this
you know,
has never been a two lead
the
single
nerds
group.
just want to know.
Right.
I love that. And listening to that actually leads me to one of the other questions I wanted to ask. So, how could you guys stay together this long? Like every group.
That's why.
112 is broke. Boys and Men lost a member.
Every group.
Jodeci
Drew Hill added a member.
Drew Hill had.
No shade.
No, I'm talking Drew Hill, but they got a
Lost
lot of
members,
rotation.
added members.
Yeah, a lot of rotation.
But we started as kids. Like we got in this group when we was 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
So we've all given each other the space to grow up as men and be
Yeah.
men. You know what
I mean, a lot of there is no group. I was thinking about this
No,
since
there
I knew
ain't.
you guys were
There
coming.
ain't.
I'm like,
There ain't.
what group actually stayed together the whole time?
That's why it's all original
Wow,
parts.
let's think
parts,
about that, man. Maybe the Four Tops. The Four Tops.
Okay.
They were all original members to the end.
Okay.
But other than them,
Yeah, it's
it's hard.
tough.
It's
Like,
hard.
even the Jacksons lost Jermaine. He got Randy.
And Michael left. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just saying, what's the formula to that? Because I mean, growing up together, having love for one another, actually being able to manage each other's egos and all that.
Absolutely.
That's a major thing to be able to do.
Being real, I think
knowing
that's
your
the
role,
biggest part of it.
and knowing your
Like
role,
if
man.
you going to bed with shit on your chest about him every night,
Right.
guess what that's gonna do? It's gonna get bigger and bigger,
Absolutely.
right? It's gonna fester and fester, and one day it's gonna blow up,
Yeah.
which happens to a lot of groups.
Yeah.
What we do, we used to have this thing that we did called go to court. If he do something wrong, we taking his ass to court.
Immediately.
All the other members
Immediately.
taking his ass to court.
You got to go to court.
And if court mean we get in the fighting at the end, that's what we used to do. And to the point that now we don't have to do all that. We can talk it out. We can, we understand where each other coming from. Right? So it ain't as hard no more.
And now it's amazing to me how many groups can't sit in the same, like, because we behind the scenes, we see how many groups can't even sit in the same room with each other.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we did all that when we was younger, got that out the way. Now, I ain't gonna say it's perfect harmony, but it's damn close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how many groups break up just to get back together?
Right.
So let's cut out the middle, man. Let's just stay together. You know what I'm saying?
Don't waste your time, man. Do what you got to do.
Well,
man.
I'm gonna say it. I mean, this is all about J.E. I want to see 112 get back together.
Me
too.
And I
Me
saw
too.
you guys. I remember on the last album they did. I guess you guys
Yeah, we
had. I
did
think you guys
a
had
song together,
a song together. I was like, man, about time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
all my brothers, man.
Yeah, man, we
All my
did a nice,
you know what?
crazy
I got
tour.
on the phone with Mike. No,
Slim.
everybody but I got on the phone with Slim, Duran, and Q, right? And to be honest, I don't know if they want me to tell their business. No, I don't give a damn. But to be honest with you, it's a conversation that has never been had between
Never.
those four guys.
Right. Absolutely.
And no matter how much you urge them to just go ahead and have it, there's so much, I guess, pain in between
Yes.
that it's no telling how long it'll take. But
Right.
I do believe they're
I
going
do
to get back
too,
together.
big
at
dog.
some
I
point,
do too.
I mean,
do
your
believe
legacy demands it. Like
Right,
you
right.
can't use that. And I said this to Slim one day. You can't use that word legacy and not try to put Slim, Mike, Duran, and Q in that legacy. It's not just Slim and Mike. Just like it ain't just Q and Duran. It's all four of y'all.
That's
when
right.
you talking about the legacy of 112. So
That's right.
yeah, we believe and hope that they'll get it back together one day too.
They're better together than apart.
Absolutely. I mean, I talked to Slim about it on the show. I've had a private conversation with Q about it. Haven't talked to Mike or Duran, but I would love to see that happen. But and I know you guys are all kindred.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Love them dudes,
Absolutely.
man.
Love them guys.
No, I tried hard one day, man.
Absolutely.
I was going back and forth talking to this one,
Telling
talking
you,
to that.
we were for hours.
And it feel like
Yeah.
did nothing, nothing
Did
changed.
nothing.
So,
I talked to Mike. I'm telling you nothing. Mike was like, look, I called Mike one time, like, what's up, boss? I said, chilling. If you call and talk about 112, hang up the phone.
He knew what it was.
Now, but I gotta tell this story though. Man, the bit down, Brandon, man, made me laugh so hard, man. We was on tour, so they broke up like halfway through our tour.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So one day he came and said, he was like, shit. And everybody thought it was gonna be us. Man, I laughed because we were known as the rah-rah. We would have turned this shit up. Everybody thought it was gonna be us. We were like, no.
Like they were scared that we had put the two groups together. They was thinking Jagged Edge was going to but no, 112.
No doubt.
Shout out to 112. I didn't want to make fun of their situation.
No,
Yes, it was 112. It wasn't Jagged Edge.
No, listen, again, and I'm gonna clear it up too, because we definitely not making. We love them dudes,
absolutely.
and we believe in them dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So I really
man.
don't think we get on one page.
We don't see them first.
amazing.
We seen them guys first.
You know,
on
and
the talent show.
humble.
Yeah,
Like
man.
it was 112's idea. Well, it was our idea 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But they came and brought the idea back to us, like in terms of us putting that show together. That was their idea.
Wow.
We had it maybe, like I said, 20-something years ago, and it was just kind of a passing thought.
Right.
And they came to us a few years ago, like, "Hey, why don't we do this?" And it was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
But, and
one of the
another
best
thing-
tours we've been on, man.
And
Real
another
talk,
thing
man.
is that Jagged Edge and 112, we got history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'd be in one room, we'd be in another room.
We were managed by the same
rehearsing.
person at once, Kevin Wells.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually
Shout
put
out
me
K.
in
Wells.
Jagged Edge. I was the last member of Jagged
Okay,
Edge.
yeah.
And I turned him on to the guys from 112.
I know Kevin.
They were
Shout out to
called-
Kevin
Shout
Wells.
out to
Hey
Kevin
man,
Wells.
I ain't heard his name in a minute.
So he
A-Town
was
legend
managing
right
both
there.
of
Yeah.
us. He was managing both of us at one time.
Wow.
So we were all rehearsing in the same house. We were in one room, they were in the other.
Yeah.
Finish our songs and we come together later on.
Exactly.
I mean, it was
powerful.
crazy.
It was
Yeah.
powerful. Man.
Man, legendary. Man.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about Jermaine Dupri for a second. So
JD.
Jermaine Dupri is one of the titans and
Absolutely.
one of the greatest, really
Come
of
on.
all time
Absolutely.
producers.
No
Give it to
You
him.
know, moguls that we've seen really, definitely
Ever.
in the last 30, 40 years.
Absolutely.
Really ever.
Ever.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't get his flowers enough for that.
Absolutely.
So we have conversations about like impact, and we talk about, back when Versus was like a big conversation, we would talk about JD versus Puff.
Right.
And I remember saying, I'm like, you know what? JD might win.
JD got him in a headlock.
We think he does.
JD got him. I ain't gonna lie. We got love for Puff too. We got a relationship with Puff. But
sure.
if you would have put that thing on, if you would have put that thing on the stage, if you would have put that verses on the stage, to me, there's no question. Jermaine walks away with it.
Yeah.
Jermaine got
Too many. It's
too
just
many
way
number
too
ones. He
many.
got Mariah. He got Usher. He got come on.
Yeah.
Listen,
Come
and,
on, like,
and
come on.
if you all have seen that, we saw this earlier too, that Babyface clip where they just run through all these songs that you didn't even realize he wrote.
Yes.
Jermaine like that too. There's so many songs people don't even realize Jermaine wrote.
Yeah.
That's how come I want the verses to
Right,
happen
like,
so people can
right.
see.
You didn't sit there with your mouth open like he did that one too. And that,
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Man, and so we think about like R&B impact. Rest in peace, Quincy Jones.
Absolutely.
The biggest producers.
All time.
We mentioned Tim and Bob.
Absolutely.
Slept on because they're
Absolutely.
also like.
man,
yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
I got a
Truth of the
relationship
life.
with Tim. We talk
Dude's
frequently.
incredible.
Us too.
And he'll say, "Man, I did." Like when you told me the story, I didn't hear that story.
Yeah, no.
Like I'll be on the phone and I was just like, "Man, who else you did this for?"
Listen, I'm gonna tell you
tell you
what else
something,
is dope
man.
about them when we was working with them. We had met JD.
Okay.
And JD was kind of like, JD here hundreds of groups, right? So he was in on us, but he wasn't sure just yet.
Right.
One night we was out with Tim and Bob, and they went up to him and said, "You ain't heard these dudes yet?"
Right.
And he respect them so much that stamp made him say, "Let me take a
Yeah, let me put an eyeball on it.
Yeah, Tim and Bob, the truth of the life.
Oh yeah. So I think when I try to rank producers, I think of Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis,
Tim
think
and
of
Bob,
Babyface,
my
Tim
favorite.
and Bob.
Yeah. That's crazy that you said it because I was just thinking that like Tim and Bob,
Yeah.
Jam and Lewis.
But
yeah,
they're
But I put JD in that conversation.
Absolutely. But you know what's so dope about Tim and Bob is and I always throw the word humble around because that impresses me personally, right? And them dudes so humble, like their whole company was to pay homage to
Time Flight,
to
right?
Time Flight.
That's right.
Flight time is
Flight time, that's right.
So their company's Time for Flight, and Jimmy Jam and Lewis is Flight Time.
Right.
So to me, when you take something, and we did the same thing with the J.E. Heartbreak album, right?
Right.
We it was homage to New Edition in E Heartbreak, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I just feel like when you're that humble and you're that confident about your talent that you ain't worried about who you're paying homage to, superseding you.
Yeah,
man, those type of people I love.
Absolutely.
I love those
Absolutely.
type of people.
But art begets art, and that's one of the things that a lot of people are scared or won't acknowledge that they're inspired by this particular group and they can't give it up where it's necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Whack. That's
I
whack.
feel you.
and that
That's
is
whack.
So speaking of, I guess Jermaine Dupri talking about Usher. You
Shout out
guys,
Usher.
you guys
Shout out
wrote
Usher.
Nice and Slow.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other records that I may not be aware of?
Well, I mean, honestly, the funny thing
Shady.
about it is there's a record called Shady Girl that was supposed to be his second single on that project.
Okay.
And we've had this issue with Brian Cox. We talk about this all the time. We would make records with Brian Cox, and we would want them to go to this direction. He wanted them to go over here. So that record ended up being sold to this group called Profile. You remember Profile, right? Louisiana,
They
right?
was on that tour.
Right.
Yeah,
So
right.
the song was,
Yeah, they
the
was
beat
sharing
got
for-
sold, the
they
beat
Profile.
got sold to
The
Faith,
Faith
right?
Evans.
And we put the song
song
Shady Girl
on,
on
right.
another beat and sold it
Gotcha.
to Profile.
Exactly.
But that
Yeah.
was supposed to be Usher's second single on that project. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and this is other record too, Little Mo.
Make it
For
official.
Life. That
For
song,
Life,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
That song, we had a song called Pretty Everything. That was
On
going to be
that
our first
same
single.
beat.
Come on.
But he just wanted, he's like, well, I got y'all. So he thought he was going to give her the record, just give us a different beat. We're like, no.
that
So
one.
once he took that beat, we like, scrap the song. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
I mean, Nice and Slow still to me is one of my favorite ones.
Mine.
from
Oh,
Usher.
yeah.
Right, yeah, we
Nice.
co-wrote that with JD. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
At that point in time, everything Usher had to go through JD. So,
That's
you know,
right.
but shots to him for even letting us be a part of that record.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. That's incredible.
You man.
You guys still, I want to say, now, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me rephrase that. Do you guys ever get caught up into the king of R&B conversations?
I think it's all stupid as hell, man. I ain't gonna lie, like when you start comparing people's legacies and even with the group stuff, to me it just gets so silly and repetitive.
is.
Because to me, it's nothing you could ever substantiate. It's your opinion
Your-
against
your
mine.
opinion says your opinion.
What's the real weight in an argument like
It's the
this?
Jordan and LeBron conversation. It's the same thing. My taste may be LeBron, your taste may be Jordan.
Right.
But you can't
can't knock either one.
Right, you can't knock what both of them
I
have
understand at
accomplished.
the end of
And
the
it's
day.
the same with the King of R&B conversation. Now, what I will say is this, right? And I'm not
Man,
speaking
R.
to no
Kelly the
certain
king of
person.
R&B.
Absolutely, that's my opinion.
All
Right?
right.
But what
to
I was
me,
going to
it's
say
more-
is, for people who kind of throw themselves in that conversation,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a little cringy to me. And I ain't naming no names, but
I think hey, somebody's name came straight to mind when you said that too. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that to home.
But I'm just saying, to me, I agree. Kels is the king of R&B.
Shout out to
Absolutely.
Robert
And you
Kelly.
let somebody
Yeah,
else
man.
say
He's
it.
the
You
king
don't
of
say it.
R&B.
Like,
Yeah, you don't
right,
say
like,
it.
hey, man.
Right. But you know, I mean, I know it's all in fun, like you said, but at the end of the day, you really can't scratch that and be like,
That's right.
this is what this is.
Right.
You know, I mean, people gonna say Michael Jackson, like you said, we say R. Kelly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people make Brian McKnight.
Right. I done heard people say Keith. So,
Yeah.
so it's
Right.
gonna always
Yeah.
be
It's
what
all
you
gonna
take.
be that.
Right.
Right. Chris Brown.
And there's
you
a
know?
great case to be made for that. Listen,
For each one of them.
people,
one of
I've heard
them,
people almost laugh at the Bobby Brown conversation. How? If you go back and look at Bobby's stats,
There was a time.
It's
there was a time when that dude was way ahead of everybody. You know what I mean?
beast.
That's right.
Right, absolutely.
It was a time he was
There was a time
outselling
when
everybody.
he was rivaling Michael Jackson.
Absolutely. Like you hadn't seen anything like him besides Michael Jackson. That's it.
That's right.
I don't know what they
So-
was thinking when he left the group. I don't know. They were thinking he was going to flatline or something. All this.
Nah.
The man sold 9 million.
Tell you,
records,
man.
bro.
Come
By
on,
himself.
man.
Come on,
Tell
man.
you.
Yeah.
That's
By
a
himself.
lot.
He
Come
had
on.
some records.
By himself.
And actually,
Shout out to King
I
Bobby
think that album,
Yeah.
I think that album is 13 million worldwide.
Yeah, it's
9 in the
yeah,
States,
now,
13
but
worldwide.
initially,
Right.
yeah,
So
come
come
on,
on,
man,
man.
like, stop.
It's a lot of
By
records.
So let's
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
there's a bunch of kings and then
Absolutely.
you know,
That's it. It's a bunch of kings in
It
different
is.
kingdoms.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
So-
And it's to me, it's the same thing with the groups. Like you can get your ass on your shoulders and say it's you, and there's gonna be a few million other people to disagree, and a
right.
couple million that will agree.
There
So
you
who
go.
cares?
There you go.
And like I guess in ranking groups, I like to say stuff like, you know, specifically talking about guys like you guys. I'm like, you know what, J.E. has a sound, but nobody can do what they do
Absolutely.
like that.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
Right.
I
Other
agree. That's a real
Boys
statement.
to Men has their thing.
Right.
Josie
Absolutely.
has their thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Absolutely.
kind of like we can rank you guys
Absolutely.
in terms of, okay, I like this, but ultimately, you guys have created and carved out your own
Absolutely.
space.
Right.
And I will say this though, I think if you do want to put us in the conversation, one feather in our cap, I think, is the fact that we are at album number 11. All my favorite groups stopped
That's a
at
fact.
album 3, 4, 5 at
Right,
the most.
right.
None of them made it
Preach,
to
brother.
album number
2,
11. You know what I'm
preach,
saying?
brother.
So I think that's at least a feather in our cap if you want to
Absolutely.
put us in that conversation.
No, I think the biggest feather in our cap. I'm sorry, because we should. What's that we was talking about?
Huh? No, I was just saying if you're going to put us in that conversation, I think that's one feather in our cap.
To piggyback off of that, I think the biggest feather in our cap is the fact that we wrote all our hits. I don't know another group except for Jodeci that wrote all their hit records. I don't know one. I don't know.
That's true too.
Hey, let me tell you something. One thing about JD.
I'll add that to an argument.
Yeah, put that in there. But one thing about JD, he's not gonna let you write on the album if you don't think he's strong enough. And he'll just let us go in the studio and he'll just be like, y'all got it. He'll just walk out and we'll be done.
Right. We've seen other artists on social try to do some writing, he dead it.
Yeah.
With us, he put on the beat and walk out the room.
We ain't gonna say that. If you're pregnant, they keep pressing. You gonna have to drop it.
That's real though. Yeah, that's real. So we got a segment called the Deep Dive, and we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but let's go into He Can't Love You.
He can't.
How did that song come to be? You know, and obviously it's just such a simple song that just, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? I know we out here. Look, we out here doing it. You know, R&B, it has a bad rap.
Dirty Mackin. The Dirty Mackin. I know you was going.
We hate us.
But see, and listen, what's funny about that?
We don't give a damn.
Listen, no, hold up. I had a conversation with somebody on my page one day about that. I said, nobody ever seemed to take into consideration that he's talking about his own woman that another nigga's trying to give. He said, what? The clock strikes 12. How did I let you leave?
Come
you
on.
talk to about your own woman.
shit.
That nigga is the one that's, you know,
Give him to
he the
him.
one dirty man.
Give him to
Right,
him.
you just trying to state your claim on what's yours.
Give him to him. Give
So
him.
that's what that record's actually about. You know what I'm saying?
And you still being polite. You said, I'm not hating this nigga who's trying to get at you,
but
but
no,
he ain't
mine.
me. It ain't this.
Hey man, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on, we all done did that now. We done did. I can tell you, I started in 8th grade with that. Come on. Hey, him? Over
right.
me?
That's right.
Really?
You talking about your little sleuth?
Yeah, so that's not.
But you know, but what's funny is sonically, right?
Yeah.
You know, being musicians ourselves, we realize, listen, this late in the game, you will never come up with a chord progression that's never been played.
Come on.
So what you have to do sometimes is sit there and say, what hasn't been played in a while?
Right.
The way that record came about was actually us replaying Before I Let You Go by Blackstreet. That's what it really is.
Yeah.
So when we do it in our show, we start now with Before I Let You Go, and
Like
it goes into He
I
Can't
seen
Love.
the first verse from that song, and then he seen the second
and that's
verse
why
from
the
my song.
transition scene. Somebody said, "Y'all transition is it's so seamless." Yeah, because it
same
comes from the same place.
Same
Same
vibe.
chord progression.
You saying that, and of course,
Teddy don't even know
playing,
that.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I mean, you know, like I said, this late in the game, no one's going to create a new progression. It's not going to happen.
88 keys on the
absolutely.
piano.
So
man.
what hasn't been there in a
12 notes.
while? That's all you can
12
do.
notes.
Right? How do I write it differently and
8
grab
hours.
something that ain't been out there in a while? That's all you can do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All the chords been played.
That's it.
From gospel to country.
That's it, bro.
And no knock on country. I mean, all country songs got that same progression.
no question.
But the Bible
All
says
of it.
ain't
Reggae music?
nothing new.
Under the
Under the
sun.
sun.
And that's
Yeah.
a fact.
So we all are borrowing and putting our own spin on
That's
things.
it. That's all you can do.
That's
But
it.
that's why I never put my opinion on the record again, because, you know, we recorded Let's Get Mad and all that around that time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
After after we were compiling records. And once I heard Let's Get Mad, I was like,
Let's do this.
You were
verse.
like, forget every other song.
hey man, please, let's drop this verse, man.
But listen,
But we ended up dropping He Can't Love You, and it did 500,000 singles.
and I'm gonna tell
They
you,
were selling singles back then. You
right,
go back,
right.
3 hour singles,
Right.
3 hour singles,
Yeah.
500,000. It was gone by
But
And
itself.
it wasn't one of our number ones, but
It
it
was
was the number
number two.
two.
Right.
It
Number
sat there.
right. But what's even crazy about it is that I knew he was right about Let's Get Married.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I said is, that sound of that song at that time, I said there will be no song that sonically sounds like this record.
Yeah.
So we got to go with it first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it ended up being the perfect introduction to
It's
Let's Get
perfect
Married. You know what I'm
setup,
saying?
yeah.
Right,
Perfect setup.
exactly.
Yeah. Man, y'all got some records. So let's go to the hot take section. All right, so I guess we kind of talked about it, but we didn't rank them. You have a Rushmore of R&B groups.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got?
Oh, I guess you want for each one of us?
Yeah.
Wow, that's still a hard. For me, I'm gonna have to start with the Temps.
Yeah.
Tempting Temps.
From them, I'm gonna go to the Jacksons.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna go New Edition.
Got to.
Yeah.
then I'm gonna go these guys called Jagged Edge.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think
Damn
they
right.
dope.
I'm
I
good
think
with
they
that.
dope, bro.
I'm good with that, bro.
That's Mount Rushmore, man.
I'll drive out the lot. I'll drive out the lot in that.
So y'all all agree with that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's it, dude.
Yeah, I think you got to go that route.
Man, we similar in a lot of ways in how, you know, we respect each other.
We really quadruplets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Think about it.
It's a four-way tie. Four-way tie. I got you.
Think about it.
So we talked about wedding songs. I mean, you guys feel "Let's Get Married" is like number one, and which is it's definitely in that conversation.
Yeah.
Can you name like 5 of the wedding songs? Top 5 wedding songs.
Oh, man, Atlantic Star.
I'm gonna go Ribbon in the Sky.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Ribbon in the
Luther
Sky.
Here and Now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Case. What's the name of that? Happy
Happy
Ever
Ever
After.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Let's Get Married. And the final one.
I want to put that Vesta, congratulations. In
Oh,
there.
yeah, they was singing that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I used to like that song, man.
Vesta, man. Shout out to Vesta, man.
But is that a
Come
wedding
on.
song because she was
Well,
mad?
Congratulations. It's about somebody getting married, not her.
Yeah, but she was
Right, that's
mad.
what it- well, you're right. You know, you're right though. You're right.
Because she said, I burst in the side door, chop her door. Just about to shoot something. The usher didn't about to get past them on anyone got something to say?
No, you're right though. You're right.
But I feel
So what y'all think the last one would be?
Atlantic Star.
Atlanta.
He said it. I thought you said it,
Oh, you
right?
said
No,
Oh, you said that.
So
Okay.
Atlantic Star.
yeah.
I like that. I like that.
That one. That's the mid '80s, right? That, I remember that. That record was.
You
playing
could.
everywhere. You couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah, that was a big record, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, quiet as it's kept though, gotta be. Because
That's
the
why we
reason
made
we
Let's Get
wrote
Married.
I
Let's
want
Get
you to tell
Married,
that story,
right?
too.
The reason we like this back in the day when VHS, like, so we had a fan club. They was sending their tapes to the label of them getting married and stuff to Gotta Be. So JD was like, y'all might well write a song for them to get married to. That's why
I
we
sang
wrote
that at a wedding.
Let's Get
Yeah.
Married.
I think
You know what I'm
about it.
saying? So even that, yeah.
JD was
Well, I
like, y'all
think it
might
was
as well
like the
give them
reception.
something to get married too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
I
why
don't
we
get to the
did it.
point.
Yeah, come on. So, are you guys inspired by anybody today?
I am. Yeah, I am.
You are.
A few artists. I think, I always feel like because of the whole, Rihanna situation, like Chris get a bad rap, but
That boy came
he
in.
one of the baddest artists I've
Sure
ever
is.
heard.
man.
And I feel
Wow.
like we don't get to see him in the same light as we seen some of our favorite artists because of that situation.
Right.
He was 16.
But I would implore everybody to think about the fact that he was a kid.
A kid.
If you hold some of the things we did when we was
Man.
kids against us,
That's right. That's right.
we'd be in the same boat. So,
Yeah.
I'm so glad it wasn't on social media.
I know that right.
give him some slack, man.
You
But
talking
no,
about some
Chris-
praying parents.
Chris he probably top, but Chris, her,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
SZA,
Yeah.
SZA for sure. Love her.
Jasmine,
Yeah.
For sure.
She might.
Summer.
Sad.
Yeah.
Jazmine Sullivan, Summer Walker, SZA, Chris. I'm into all that shit.
I
I'm
like
into
Victoria
all of it.
Monet too. I think she.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Janelle.
She's
Yeah.
super
Janelle,
though.
nice.
She is.
Now, you guys, I mean, obviously, you guys are, R&B superstars. Are you guys still fans of the music, meaning like trying to catch shows or like outside of that? I know you guys
Not
are
that
always
not
busy,
as
but
much.
Yeah, not
You know what I mean?
necessarily.
But I will say this though, when we did Lovers and Friends a couple years ago, I did find myself watching some of these artists, But have I ever gone and purchased a ticket? I haven't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I did with New Edition about 10 years
of course,
back.
we did, right.
Yeah.
But I thought you meant like some of the newer artists.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
And I
really-
could have called and asked for tickets, but I was trying to support,
Right,
so I
right.
bought about 5 tickets. about
I guess
10.
I'm asking that question from the heart of like seeing what some of these guys are doing. Like
Right.
I went to Chris Brown's 11/11 tour,
Yeah.
and I was just like,
Come on, man.
Oh,
That
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
man,
he's
listen,
crazy.
come
I
on,
was
man.
like, bro,
And much
it's
love
one
to
of the
Chris-
coldest tours.
And one of the coldest artists
Artists of all
ever.
time. Like if you want to still say Michael Jackson #1, that's fine.
Yeah.
But this dude got to be number 2.
I'm telling
or
you.
1B or something. He got
I
to be
ain't
right
seen
there
Mike
with
do
him.
no back
He got to be
flip or
right
no
there
hand.
with
I
him.
ain't
I
seen
think
him.
first off, I think you got to put Usher and Chris on the
Absolutely.
same
Right.
plane.
Right. You gotta respect that.
I ain't about
They're
to
on
argue
the
with
same
y'all,
plane.
but Michael Jackson on a whole nother
Come on.
level.
Of course.
Exactly.
But
It's
Mike,
for y'all. It's for y'all.
you never saw Mike do a back or flip off the stage.
Nah,
That
we
mean he
never-
could.
Right, look, man, he could.
No, we saw him hanging from a riser, like
Hell yeah.
doing
For
calisthenics
dear
and
life.
hitting the notes.
Much love,
tough.
much love to Chris Brown and Usher, man. Both
Right.
of those guys brought us out in Atlanta
Yeah,
on
facts.
on their
On
tour,
both of their
man.
tours,
Yeah,
right,
man.
facts,
And
facts.
like again, man, those guys are. I mean,
That
Amazing,
actually goes to the
amazing.
point I was gonna say when we were talking about Kings. I'm like, I think Usher right now is definitely expressing himself in a in a royal way.
Absolutely.
And he's highlighting so many amazing artists on his tour.
Right,
Sharing his platform with so
That's
many
what
different
I
artists.
found so incredible about Usher.
Right.
He took a moment that was set up to be probably his biggest moment ever.
Right.
And he said, you know what? I'm going to shine light on some people who y'all might not have seen in a while.
That's
right.
And every single night he had some legacy artists
Legacy.
up there that probably blew your mind. Like, I didn't even know they were still singing.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
And he did that every city he went to. You got to give a man his credit for that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
an incredible
we
gesture.
recently had Case on the show.
My
And,
bro, that's our bro.
They brought Case out.
Yeah.
He's brought Carl Thomas.
Everybody who had a big
Everybody.
record, he
That's
brought
right.
him out.
That's
I promise.
right.
I promise.
Damn
Cut Close. We ain't seen them in years,
Cut
right?
Close.
He brought Cut Close out in
Yeah.
Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shout out to them girls.
Man,
You know what I'm
Cut
saying?
First of all, shout out to Cut Close.
Talking about another underrated
Keith
group for
Sweat,
sure.
Pen Game.
Right, come on, man.
They got some records.
Yes,
Right, they do. They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Talk about Keith Sweat. That's probably the most underrated pen in R&B.
no
You know what I'm
doubt.
saying?
Right.
No
Keith
doubt.
got hits.
Yeah, he do.
Keith got
And for
hits,
other
man.
people.
Yeah, from
doubt.
other people, yeah.
I'm
Shout out to my
I'm
brother.
glad you said that. So this is just conversational barbershop talk right here. So we talk about like the 80s and 90s. When I think about the New Jack Swing era, and we talk about Guy and Aaron Hall, Keith Sweat might be the best dude from the 80s.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
hey.
You're not going to get Jagged Edge to disagree with that.
That's our
Keith
bro.
know where he at on our list.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
one thing about Keith Sweat, like you could say whatever it is that you have an issue with, he bad, guess what? That man has made some of the most quality R&B records of all
Absolutely.
time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Johnny Kemp, Guy, Silk,
Absolutely.
all them songs he wrote. You know what I mean?
And,
He's
and,
a
and even
force.
some of the songs with Gerald Levert,
Yeah,
and
he's
he's
a force
like,
to be reckoned with.
I mean, his legacy is incredible.
Incredible.
And I think too, what you just said, I think not enough people put him in that kind of conversation as
Right.
that,
Right.
because he really is that.
I mean,
You
I
know
think
what
of
I'm
like
saying?
Alexander O'Neal.
Absolutely.
I think of,
Love
of course, Luther Vandross, but he wasn't New Jack Swing. But
Right,
he was,
right.
You know, and Guy, and of course you had Troop, and you know,
Troop,
Shout out
but
to them.
yeah, when I think about it, I have this conversation with everybody. I'm like, Keith just might be. I can't definitively say, but
He's up
it's
there.
definitely up there.
Oh, definitely
He
up there.
in that conversation.
Definitely.
Keith is up there.
You know,
I don't take nothing away from him.
I would say, as far as a pen game as well, I'll be short. Now he don't have the long career that Keith has as a solo artist.
That's right.
But his pen game was incredible.
That's
you
right.
know what I'm saying?
Shout out
Oh
to
yeah,
Al.
shout out to Al B. Short.
Shout out to Al Brown.
Shout out to Al B. Short.
His last name Brown?
Yes, sir. Al Brown. and let me shout him out again, because when I got in that accident, he one of the first people who hit my page. And, you know, that type of stuff go a long way with me.
Absolutely.
Real
Yeah,
moments
absolutely.
go a long way
Absolutely.
with me. So
Absolutely.
shout out to Al
If don't
Brown.
nobody like you, big dog, they're not gonna call. Okay, let's get that straight. Ain't nobody praying about. Oh, I mean, that's just my take, especially as a man.
Yeah.
To say, hey, how you doing, brother? I'm praying for you.
Yeah.
And I did not know that brother name was Brown.
Al Brown.
One of the Browns.
I mean,
One of the first people
look,
in,
I mean,
man.
we'll be remiss to not even acknowledge, you know, the fact that you are still with us. You
Absolutely.
know,
Oh, yeah.
and we, you know, obviously we all were praying for you. Definitely your fans.
appreciate that.
Had that accident, man, and you know, I think about Iris from 702 passing away.
Absolutely.
Man, we seen her weeks before
Sure
that.
did,
man.
man.
Yeah,
Sure
yeah,
did.
man.
You know, even Irv Gotti just
Shout
the
out
other
my
day.
brother Irv.
Yeah, Irv, yes.
Irv
man.
one of
That's well, man.
That's great.
Listen, it's
Irv, let
funny.
me just tell this story real quick. When we got off Def Jam, Irv was one of the first people called me. Like, he wanted to give us a deal, an artist deal, but at that point we was looking for a label deal. So, you know, he got a little mad. We had a little back and forth about it. But, you know, at the end of the day, he respected my decision. And more than anything, me and him have been cool from probably the time we stepped into this game. To the point, I mean, I got his number, he got my number type of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, that's just been that's been a crazy, you know, a crazy loss right there. Shout out to Irv, his family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, deepest condolences. We, you know, I think about, I mentioned Jermaine Dupri. We mentioned, you know, Puff. I think of Irv as also one of the titans in the game. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
We get so familiarized with people watching them on social media going off, oh, you become a caricature.
Yeah,
but you forget the true impact that they may have really had.
That's
in
what
the
I
game.
hate about
Before
social media.
That's
what I hate
social
about
media.
social
You know what I'm saying?
media.
That's
It makes
right.
so much. It makes a joke out of so much real shit.
It does.
I hate. That's one thing I hate about social media.
I mean, I definitely hate, I'm not gonna say I hate it, but I know it definitely falsify a lot of things because
Absolutely.
without it, you had to go find it.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, but you heard the new Jagged Edge? No, song.
That's right.
You know, no, I ain't heard the way it said. I got to go find it. I mean,
That's
how
right.
come you heard it? I haven't heard
That's
it. So, you know, it's you kind of appreciate the music, where to go find it, and then
how to
where the next concert at, or, you know, where's the next signing.
That's right.
So we miss a lot of that.
That's the plus side of it, though.
Right.
You know, honestly, but yeah, it's
The fact you can reach so many people.
Right,
Yeah, that's the
absolutely.
good
Yeah,
part.
that's the only part.
Right, that's the good part. Right?
Yeah, because it's definitely a lot of bullies that, you know, that just on, you know, on the internet gangsters, you know.
Yeah.
The type of people who wouldn't even say that shit if they were
Right.
standing in your face.
Come
type.
on, yeah,
That's
well.
what I can't stand.
on.
Like you know you.
You wouldn't say that to us.
Look, I know you wouldn't say I tell people, look, I say, don't let the smooth taste fool you. You know what I'm saying?
Right, there you go.
I'm from Baton Rouge,
Come on,
Louisiana.
Come on,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't get it
Real
twisted.
life.
Real
Yeah,
solid.
Man.
Talk that
Can't
you
wait
want.
to do something.
Nah, I feel that. But we're gonna wear our ties and So let's switch gears, man. Let's talk about the new album, All Original Parts Volume 1.
Yes.
So first of all, I love the fact that you guys are still putting out albums.
Thank you.
A lot of artists, definitely that like legacy artists, are just riding along with the old
The
records,
old
and
stuff,
that's
yeah.
good. But your fans are growing with you.
Absolutely.
We want to hear new stuff too.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about how this album came about.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. He pushed this more than I did this time, because I had said to him one day, I said, you know, I said sometime when I look at the fact that we keep putting albums out, somebody gonna look at the statistics of it all and not understand how big it was at a certain point. You know what I mean? So it's like when you look up and you got 10 or 11 albums to explain the 20 million records you sold, it don't look as big as the, you know? So I had said to him, maybe we should just do like some of the newer artists do and just put singles out. And he was like, after this one. I was like, I said, fuck it. Let's do
And
this
not
one.
only that, too, I just don't care about none of that. Like we different in that way. You know, we both are cerebral about this game, right? But his is in one direction, mine is in another, and I have to take in what he said because it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
But I've tried to, take in what I'm saying too because it kind of makes sense too. Yeah. For me, it's always about the fans. Number one, it's about the fact that we make music so easily, and I don't even like that word easily, but so consistently. Like we're always in the studio.
Yeah.
So it's like either you let this stuff just sit around and just rot, or you give it to the people. Like for me, it's like let's just give it to the people.
But see, I look at it like this: there's a footprint that you leave behind when you're not here, right? And we're not here to explain that this is what happened on this project, and right? I get it. So my thing is that when we're dead and gone, right, and somebody pick up the Jagged Edge stats, and like I said, it will allow you to not understand the impact at a certain time.
Yeah.
And because I'm not here at that point to defend ourselves, I started thinking about that part of the legacy. You know what I mean?
And that's fine. And for me, it's just that, look, okay. We also, and I get that, you can't explain the fact that the last 3 albums was independent. You can't explain that we haven't been, ever since we weren't on a major label system, we never tried to go back, right? So you can't explain to everybody, and they go, we didn't want to go back to that. We want to do it ourselves. Yeah. And we're just now actually getting a handle on it. Yeah. And you can see that the team we put together and some of the things that have happened even just early on in this release.
Shout out our team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, shout out our team,
some of the things
man.
that have happened just, early on in this release already, you can see we're starting to get a handle on it.
Sure.
But we was just swinging in the wind for a while, just saying, hey, let's make music and put it out. And that's what we did.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not mad at the process of none of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of great groups, but I know far as Brandon, Brian, Kyle, and Wingo, we are in the best group that we can be in.
Come on.
And it's Jagged Edge, and we still do it. We're talking about 20-something years.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of groups struggle.
Yeah.
To this day, they want to be in our shoes.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing, and it lets you know how good and how real God is.
Absolutely.
For
Man,
us.
y'all look good.
Oh,
You know,
praise the
ain't
Lord.
nobody looking doped out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking at y'all like, damn.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
I ain't looking at y'all like that. I'm like,
This game is stressful, man. You can pick up a habit now.
This game will take you out.
Yeah, but easy.
But now at the end of the day, man, we're gonna keep putting records. I mean, again, like, man, these guys literally got thousands of records, man, in the computer. Like, come on, man. Like,
No, we do.
it does no good sitting in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
my only point. Like, I understand what he's saying,
Get
1,000%,
these
but that's my
folk-
only
get these
point of view.
folk-
But you know how I look at it? You know how they always talk about the vault of music that Prince left behind.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm okay with people discovering that music in a vault when I'm dead and gone. And
Oh,
I'm
that's
okay
gonna
with
happen.
that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's
But
gonna happen.
listen, even if we put out 10 albums this year, it's still a shitload of music still going to discover.
it's still-
That's how much
like, they
music
go-
we have.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
2 or 3 records a day, bro. Easy.
Right.
Easy.
Wow.
Easy.
Like
yeah.
easy. I mean,
Well,
it's,
I'm working on an album. Throw me one of them joints.
we got you, bro.
Go long. Go long.
The material is there, bro. No question.
Nah,
you know
for sure.
Saying? Like,
No, I love that. I love that. So, in terms of this particular album, I know it's volume 1, so we can expect a few albums coming after
Right.
that.
Absolutely.
All this year.
That's
All
what
this shit.
3 albums this year.
Round 1, 2, and 3.
The third one might be the top of next year, but
Yeah,
we
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to squeeze them all in.
Right.
there.
Gotcha.
Right,
Gotcha. So, what can the fans expect? Like, what story are you guys telling on this album, if any? Like,
Number one, that we understood from day one the assignment, right?
Right.
Like I said before, why destroy what God brought together?
Right.
To try to strike out on some personal, egotistical goal that you have, right?
Right.
When you see the blessing He placed in your lap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always look at it like, you know, I've loved so many groups over the years that broke up just to come back together.
yeah.
So we always said, well, what's the point in that? If we got an issue, like I said, we go to court, we talk it out. If it's a money thing, like he said, we've never minded splitting the check 4 ways. So if he got it, I got it. If I got it, he, you know, it's that type of thing.
Yeah.
Like realistically, it's not a concept that we're fantasizing about.
Absolutely.
This is who we are to each
Right.
other. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The first time we ever made real money in this business, we owed a man $80,000, right?
$80,000,
Yep.
And this is a story I never told publicly, right? Me and my brother, because we write, we get, we make the publishing side of the game, and we took our money and we paid the whole debt.
Thank you.
We took it, right. We paid his half, and these are the type of
forgot to
gestures
tell you.
that we afford to each other. You know what I'm saying? That's why we here the way we are. We've never minded doing for each other. I said to Wingo one day, I like the hat you got. He took it right off his head and put it on my head. That's how we are with each other.
We know I like that
And I
hat.
think also too, the goal is to put yourself
It's cold right now.
right. Look, the goal is to put yourself in a rarefied space.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more checks coming anyway.
No doubt.
Right? As opposed to you don't do that, and yeah, you haggling over this one little check, but we so blessed, we ain't haggling over no one little check. You know, checks come in and we use them, and we split them up, and we go get the next one. Like it is what it is. You know
So
what I'm saying?
how can you not
Yeah.
love your group?
Nah, for sure.
I'm dead serious. I know I
Yeah.
crack my jokes. I'm the little brother out the group, but to hear that's like, yo, man, I'm just thank you. And I know it sounds funny, but thank you, because a lot of groups,
You on your own.
You on your own, man. Like, hey, man,
Go figure this shit out.
Just go do this. Oh yeah, it's that. But the love is genuine, and because of that, man, there's nothing that they could ask me and I wouldn't give it to them.
No doubt.
It's never my last.
No doubt.
If
And
he
I don't
got
have a
it,
doubt that he'd give it to
and you know what I'm saying,
No doubt.
for any of them, I may get cussed out along the way.
No question.
But you know, I'm cool with that.
And look, and that started when we was 15 years old,
Yep.
sharing clothes and shit.
Right.
Like
Real
that's
talk.
where it go with us. People
Right.
don't realize that. Like we've been in this group since we was 15 years old,
Right.
Yeah.
and we was 4 dudes who chose to hang with each other then.
Right.
Why come to this point and be haggling over anything?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It makes
We're not
sense,
gonna
right.
do that.
It's wasted energy.
No, that's powerful, man. And it's really, I'm an energy guy, and it feels good actually just talking with you guys.
No doubt.
And feeling that camaraderie, that brotherhood in this conversation. And this is actually one of my favorite episodes that we've done.
Oh, that's what's up.
Barbershop talk, man. So like, we just talking, man. You know.
When we
That's
all get
what's up.
together
Yeah,
and
no,
chop it
that's
up,
good.
that's
For
what it's like.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's single. What's the singles dropping?
Yeah, just
so
might get
it's
it.
right. Just might get it. It's out right now. It's on all platforms right now. If you want to purchase the album right now, you can go to even.biz and get it early. If you don't want to get it early, then next Friday it comes out on all
February
platforms.
14th. Yeah.
February 14th.
Video debuts next Friday.
Right.
Tour starts in March. The first leg of it, because we're already getting so much flack.
Yeah.
People look, we intended to make it a short, little, sweet little run, intimate run, and we get so much people so mad at us that we ain't gonna
Cussing.
say
They cussing.
So this is the first leg of the tour. We will be around the whole
Absolutely.
world.
Look,
before it's done.
Much love to Live Nation, man, for
Much
kicking it.
love.
Yeah, thank you, Live
First leg
Nation.
off.
Look,
Man,
speaking of
y'all
that,
know.
I've been looking at the dates, and I don't see New Orleans on
Yeah,
there.
that-
That's what he said. That's what he
we
said.
on our way.
Listen, to everybody watch this show, right?
Right.
The first 9 dates of this tour are just that.
Yeah.
There will be we'll be going all summer long. Right?
Oh,
Yeah, the
But
second leg is like 30 days, right?
Right. But to be honest, it was a couple reasons for that. One, it's my first time back. I haven't been on stage with them in over a year.
Right.
So it's my first tour back.
Right.
And secondly, we kind of wanted to drive up the demand. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
that's why we did it the way we did.
And we got a new show. Everything is going to be crazy. So yeah. We're trying to build up the anticipation the whole 9.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I'm definitely gonna catch one of these first 9.
Good. You good.
And also, man, check out that. Listen, the album is something on there for everybody.
Yes.
We dabble in some of the R&B drill records, but we don't do it in a way that's not Jagged Edge, right? We never gonna not be ourselves, right?
Right.
But we do aim at times to show people like. We've been blessed as a talented collective in the sense that
we can do all that
right.
shit.
There's nothing out there that we can't do. So sometimes we just venture in this and to show you we can do that too. We want to, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's a great album. There's already a lot of people saying it's a classic, man. So go check it out if you want to get it early. Again, on even.biz. If you wait till next Friday, it's on all platforms next Friday. So.
Man, that's amazing, bro. Jagged Edge, thank you guys.
Thank you, bro.
Hey, enjoyed it, bro. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you. All your partners, your bro back there.
He never comes to my set. Well, we just our schedule's always crazy, so we don't always
Very
align.
first time right now?
Of him catching my set, maybe a second one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He showed up for the boys.
One last question. What happened to R&B groups?
I think it's the money thing.
Yeah.
Especially being
all
the
the
label
money
now,
around.
being our own label, I realize how expensive it is to do this shit. You know? And it's funny because sometimes when we was on the major label, we was mad about anything we couldn't do.
Right.
But now I realize, it ain't always cost effective to put your group out, and send them wherever you want to send them.
Yeah.
It's got to make sense.
Yep.
It's got to yield some type of productive response
and return.
And at the end of the day, I think the industry in itself, right? We've lost a lot because of the economics of music, right? And so sometimes when you have a favorite, and I'm speaking on the legacy artists, right? When you have that favorite artist who's been out for a while, make sure you're supporting that still to this day, because that's the only way you're gonna get it. You gotta support what you love if you want to continue to get it. So,
And you know what? I just want to say, I'm proud of the music that we do put out because, like, Brian was saying, when Ma walked past the room, please don't put out no music to where it will embarrass me or you can't be proud of. I think now a lot of our young generation, they really don't know what true R&B is because of the love, the message. There's a message in the message.
That's right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like
love,
now,
man. We promote love.
we promote love. So
universal language.
now it's about roach. So I think the label, like you said, the label just lost the responsibility of, hey, the message.
I feel like a lot of today's R&B, they've taken their cues from groups like us, right? But didn't pay enough. Right? They didn't pay enough attention to understand that our image is something different from our music.
Right.
Our image was just 4 guys trying to be themselves. You know what I mean? Our music is. We put on a very high level,
Right.
So you can separate the two to understand who we. You got to separate the two to understand who we really
And
are.
it's crazy because we just posted this picture in these Dickie suits today, right? This is another Dickie suit. And people going crazy. But one thing, first comment I see, my thug R&B niggas is back. Listen,
we never claim that.
That's not what we sell. We just us. We don't sell no thug this. That's not. It's not. Y'all missing it, right? And again,
we might have jumped a couple people, but they had it coming.
Listen,
But we ain't promoting none of that gangster stuff.
That's all I'm saying. You missing it.
You can tell through our music what we're about. You know what I'm saying? And we're about love, man.
Absolutely.
God is love, bro.
Absolutely.
We just some real ones, man.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Man, Jagged Edge in the building.
Can we talk in the building?
Can we talk R&B?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. As always, this is a continued conversation. Look, Jagged Edge in the building. This is like one of my favorite ones. Y'all tap in.
No
Tap
doubt.
in. All right.